Mike, near the end of the season, your fourth line averaging about 11 or so minutes per game. How important was that time management and what their impact is able to do if you're going to get into a possibly long series?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the better they play and the better we play, the more they get to play. When you're chasing the game, those guys don't get to play as much. And if you go through the minutes all year long, the games we lose, our big guys play more minutes. The reason they play more minutes is because you're behind and you're chasing it and it doesn't go as good. So if we can spread out the workload and everybody can be important, I think that's a positive thing.
How much confidence do you think Mitch will draw going into this year's playoffs based on how he finished the regular season?
Well, I think obviously he's playing good. Last year was hurt there going in and, didn't recover in the same way. And it was his first playoff series. I think it's a real good opportunity for him. He's playing with good players. And I think Patty helps him out a lot. So we need him to be important for us. But you're going to have to compete. It's not the skill time of the year. It's the will time of year, and you got to dig in.
Like, how much did Hainsey's performance with the Penguins in the playoffs last year lead you guys to believe that he'd be a good asset for you?
Yeah, that was part, but also he played in Carolina there, and we, I know the coach pretty good, and we followed him pretty closely. Their penalty kill was unbelievable, and he was a huge part of it. And it just worked out. You have lots of plans going in the off season every year about who you're going to acquire and what you're going to do, and it never works out. And every once in a while, you get lucky.
How do you kind of measure the impact that Hainsey has had on Riley when you look at his season as a whole?
Well, I just think that what he is a guy's been around the league, learned how to play, and he's just like the human eraser. All those mistakes that guys make, he just stands there and puts a stick on a chair. Does the same thing for Boston. They know where to stand. They know how to play. And they've made their mistakes. It took Hainsey a long time to get into the league as a regular. And so we earned his stripes, and he was an offensive guy and learned how to play without it. And, he's an important guy for us, not just on the penalty kill, but just in general, and then as a leadership.
I think last year that Riley made a big jump in the Washington series, and it kind of carried through this year. How much has he grown from the beginning of that series to now?
Well, I thought he really had her going and this year, and he got hurt, and then it took him a while to get his game back. We need him to dig in here again. As we talked here the other day, to win, your best players got to be your best players. You got to dig in, and you got to compete, and you got to be real solid defensively. So he has the capability of doing all those things. Now you got to bring it out of yourself.
With the games in Boston, do you expect them to put Bergeron on Matthews?
Well, I got lots of theories about what I expect, and I'm just going to keep them to myself and the team and coaches. How's that?
With the experience you have of Komarov and Plekanec on the fourth line, do you have to be less concerned about line matchups? For sure.
It's a good miss for sure for you. When Cappy can really skate, or Johnny, who's ever going to go. So that gives us, a good mix there. And obviously they have real good depth. If you look at their lineup, they have real good depth. They're getting some guys back, I see, just by their lineup here today. And so they're going to be no different that way than us.
Ron was saying that when he studies the Bergeron unit, the biggest thing that stands out to him is their unpredictability, and that it's difficult to project what they're going to do, and that makes them hard to contend. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think the other thing is they work, they compete. And so if you compete, you're competitive, and you're on the puck, and you're willing to check it back, then it's just not about your skill set. And so, they have. Pasternak's a real good young player too, and obviously learn a lot from them. But those other two guys are world-class players, and they're competitive.
How much in a playoff series does it just come down to having the better goalie?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. It's always nice to have the better goalie, though.
Mike, you relied so heavily on Morgan and Jake in the playoffs last year, and they really delivered in terms of heavy minutes, heavier than in the regular season. Do you see that maybe happening again with them? Well,
what happened was Zaitsev and Polak got hurt, right? So I think that's a big part of it. Ideally, everyone's going to just continue doing what they're doing, and everyone can be important. I think we're deeper on the back end. I think we're a lot deeper on the back end. Everybody can play and have a role and be important. So ideally, we can roll them out the door.
When you're up against a coach, Mike, who doesn't have a track record, who you don't know he does this or this, is it harder to play when you don't know what the other guy's doing?
Well, we've had 82 games to have a good look. He's been in the league before, coached in the minors when I coached in the minors, so I got a pretty good handle on that. But, it's like anything is when you work at it and you study it hard, you're going to know pretty much everything about what they do. It's like anything. The playoffs is different. Each round you go in is a little bit different. And so I think when you don't have as much experience, you think experience is overrated. When you have lots, you know what's important.
Do you have a plan in mind to rotate Janssen in on fourth line?
No, this is what I have, is I have a lineup to start game one, and I just assume everything's gonna go good, and we're gonna win all our games, and I'm gonna make no changes.
Talking to Jimmy Rutherford the other day, he thought your team looks a lot like his team looked a couple of years ago. Do you see a comparison?
Well, I hope he's right.